Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, Abeer's Book Reviews, and today I'll be reviewing this book, A Nation of Victims by Vivek Ramaswamy. This is the second book by Vivek Ramaswamy which I've read. The first one was Woke Inc. If you want to check that out, there's a video up on my channel. So now let's talk about the second book, which is based along the same lines as Woke Inc. in that it talks about the modern Western civilization and all the things which are sort of plaguing it. And while the first book was more about corporations, social governance, ESG, RSI, all of that things, this goes beyond the corporate aspects and how companies affect the modern civilization by portraying to be woke. Instead, this book goes into the people themselves of the society and how their identities and their narratives and their perspectives have changed over time, and how that is one of the major causes of a declining Western civilization, especially in the US. So the book starts off by mentioning how America used to be a land of opportunities, how you could come here, you would get equal opportunities, equal pay, equal justice. You could live a very successful life. And most of the great American stories are built, are stories of underdogs, where the less likely alternative or the less likely competitor ended up winning, because America was a land where people could do that. There is democracy of free choice, you have elected leaders, and all of this. But in recent times, that has started to change. Instead of being a land of underdogs, America has started to become a land of victims. In an underdog story, traditionally, you have a person who's oppressed going against a person who's privileged, and the oppressed person ends up winning most of the time in an underdog story. So this used to be the American ethos, or the core of the American society. But now they're shifting towards a nation of victims, where instead of the oppressed person giving it their best, using all that they have, and almost fueling their win based off of their history of oppression, they use that history of oppression to portray themselves as victims, and to say that because of what happened in the past to me and my ancestors, I am still an oppressed group today, and I don't want to do anything about it, instead of complain. And that is the main gist of the book. It talks about the shift from underdogs to victims, how that creates, basically it kills off merit in society, where instead of relying on your skills and your abilities and your merit, people just use the victim card. They say, well, I'm from an oppressed group, so I am entitled to this, and they over time develop a sense of entitlement. And that is something which has been fueled by the woke culture in recent times, especially in the US, where people from all sorts of minorities who have, for the most part, equal rights in the US, and they just start receding backwards. They say, no, we don't have equal rights. We want more. And they start demanding things, but they don't realize that they already have it. And that leads to a death of merit, where an Asian American in the past could work hard, become successful in the US. But now a lot of Asian Americans, Vivek Ramaswamy says, solely rely on their characteristic of being Asian American to get through life. And it leads to a paradigm shift in how people view themselves and how they view others, where instead of relying on viewing other people based on their achievements and their merit, you just view others as victims. And it also focuses heavily on intersectionality, which is, if you're, let's say, you have various ethnic backgrounds, instead of, let's say you're half black and half white, for example. You could view yourself as being half white, but you could also view yourself as being half black and use that characteristic trait to basically portray yourself as the victim. So that is what Vivek Ramaswamy also argues about in this book, and how identity politics lead to a decline of merit in society. And he shares a lot of anecdotes along the way, one of which was personal to him, like how he first sort of got into thinking about how the American society has changed. There are a lot of great anecdotes in the book if you want to delve deeper into the topics of society and woke culture and how it's changing people, how it's affecting people, whether it's for the better or for the worse. So yeah, that's basically it for the book. If, as I said for Vivek's previous book, you should go into it with an open mind. You should not go into this thinking that Vivek Ramaswamy is inherently going against my personal beliefs and ideas, and I'm going to attack every single point of this book. Instead, you should go into it thinking from a more neutral perspective, where you think, okay, this guy's written a book which is opposing my views. Let's see what his points are, and let me jump to a conclusion, or make a conclusion myself. So don't rely on your instincts. Go into it with an open mind. Try to learn something, because this book is definitely going to teach you a lot of things that you didn't know about the past of the American society, the present of the American society, and the possible future. There's towards the end, Vivek Ramaswamy draws a comparison between the U.S. and Rome. Just like Rome eventually fell, is the U.S. empire going to fall? And he basically says that the fall of an empire is it's imminent. It's eventually going to happen. No one can stop that. No one can debate that. But how it happens is a pretty important thing, because even though the Roman Empire has died long ago, the Roman Empire's influence still lives on. People remember it, and mostly remember it as one of the greatest empires on the history of the earth. So, do we want people to remember the U.S. as one of the greatest countries and greatest empires in the world, or do we want to view it as this land of victims who don't rely on anything other than how they look, or what ethnicity they are, what is their racial background? And Vivek Ramaswamy also talks about the Punic Wars between Rome and Carthage, and how instead of declining like Rome, the U.S. should try to be more like Carthage, in that it is not defeated, it is outbuilt by the Romans. We keep pushing, we reach a pedestal, and after that, the decline of an empire is imminent. So he basically says to all Americans, let's try to build the empire to the best it can be. An empire I'm using basically for the U.S. as a country. So yeah, that is it for the book, Nation of Victims by Vivek Ramaswamy. Here it is. Once again, if you guys enjoyed, make sure you hit the like button. If you're new and haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel to keep receiving more videos like this one. I have been Abeer Rao, and thanks for watching.